Chapter 10. Chloe. I share everything with my mom. She's my best friend. I can't believe I didn't know this about her. What else has she kept hidden from me? And once we go after the VKs, will I even make it back to the present to ask her? Back at Merlin Academy, a hushed darkness had fallen over campus. It was late, later than Red and Chloe had any business being out walking through the woods. Red pushed past bare branches of dying trees and emerged on the bank of the swampy lagoon, leaving Chloe to catch up behind her. They surveyed the area. There were no VKs present. There was nothing but an occasional bubble rising to the surface of the water and popping with a sickly squelch. Why was the place so deserted? Suddenly, voices approached from the nearby woods. I thought you were a beautiful flamingo, Uli. Hook joked. It's the VKs, Red whispered. Red and Chloe ducked to hide just in time as the VKs tore through the trees. Uliana was fuming, with her VK crew trailing behind her. One thing was clear from their conversation. They were dead set on getting the perfect revenge on Bridget. When they got to the edge of the black lagoon, Uliana raised the seashell on her necklace to her lips and blew a haunting note. The shell glowed, and the black pool rippled onward in cascading waves. The waters before them began to churn. Red and Chloe glanced at each other, dreading what might happen. Suddenly, Uliana's lair rose from the murky depths, revealing the location of her hideout. Inside, the colossal remains of some petrified sea creature. The floating fortress came to a rest in the middle of the lagoon, with dark water streaming off its giant spiked spine. Stepping stones drifted to the surface one by one, silently creating a path from the shore to the mouth of the lair. Through the open jaws, a demon globe beckoned. Uliana and the VKs danced their way across the stones giddily. As they crossed, the ridge of something black and serpentine broke the surface of the water, and then just as quickly slithered back into the darkness. Red and Chloe watched the VKs disappear into the belly of the beast and took 2 deep breaths. Uliana stormed inside her secret hideout. The interior matched her foul mood. A hazy neon light swirled around the walls, made of ancient bones. Seaweed clung to every surface. In the center of a lair sat a large black cauldron, ready for evil deeds. Uliana's tentacles lifted her into the air as she turned to her minions to ask if they had any suggestions for her revenge. Hook suggested Bridget walk the plank. Maleficent suggested Uliana prick Bridget with 1,000 thorns. Hades suggested burning Bridget to a crisp, and Morgie agreed. But Uliana shook her head, feeling like she was surrounded by unimaginative morons. No, she thought, these won't do. She'd need help from the cauldron itself to find the right recipe for her revenge. At her command, Hades snapped his fingers to start the blazing fire beneath the cauldron. Outside, Red and Chloe climbed the exterior of the lair, clinging the spiked protrusions. They carefully crawled along the spine and then came to a stop and clawed a hole through the lair's slimy walls. From there, they could peer down into the VK hideout and overhear the plans being made. Uliana leaned over the cauldron as it glowed and steamed. The vapors took the shape of an ethereal image, a leather-bound book, enclosed with a silver clasp. What's this? A book? That's it? I asked for a painful punishment, Uliana cried. But then the book rotated to reveal its cover. In big lettering, it said, The Sorcerer's Cookbook. Right away, Uli could see the plan. She tricked Bridget with something that would embarrass her as much as Bridget had embarrassed Uli. All she needed was this one little book. Pumped, the VKs rushed across the stepping stones outside the lair, determined to find the cookbook that would help them bake up something not so sweet for Bridget. Uliana made it to the bank last and raised her shell to blow one eerie note. Then she looked at her VKs. We'll bake her our own treat. and turned her into a giant monster. Her eyes glinted as she turned and led her VKs back to the school. As soon as the VKs had retreated far enough into the woods, Red and Chloe scrambled, dropping from the hideous entrance onto the first stepping stone. Red led the way, hurrying back across the lagoon, but slammed to a stop when a dark shape rippled the water ahead of them. It moved incredibly fast, just below the surface, and another splash alerted Chloe to what they were dealing with. "What was that?" asked Red. As she spoke, the floating stones began to sink one by one. Red raced ahead, making it to safety, with Chloe right behind as the dark shape of an eel closed in on her. Just as the last stepping stone sank beneath her foot, Chloe leapt and plopped onto the shore. She was exhaling, relieved, when suddenly the eel erupted from the water and lunged onto the bank after her. It snapped its jaws at Chloe's feet, and when Chloe looked for Red for help, Red completely froze. Was she really not going to help Chloe after all they'd been through together? Chloe kicked at the eel, terrified, and clutched the roots of a nearby tree for purchase as the eel tugged her down closer to the water's edge. Snapping out of her trance, Red grabbed a branch, roughly the same size as her trusty croquet mallet, from a withered tree. When the eel lunged at Chloe again, its razor-sharp teeth about to clamp down on her, Red smashed the eel with a baseball swing across its jaw. Red spun and hit it again, then raised the branch and wallowed the eel on its head. Yes! A triple combo, Red's signature move. The stunned eel sank into the depths of the lagoon, and Red pulled Chloe farther from the water. Both girls caught their breath in silence, processing what had just happened. "You okay?" Red finally asked. "Yeah. Thanks," said Chloe. Red shrugged nonchalantly. "You're no good to me as fish food." Betraying her cool demeanor, Red playfully whacked her on the shoulder. Chloe broke the moment. "We can still stop them before Castle coming, but that means we've got a book to find," Red finished.